BabyHawk, meet BabyHawk. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my video, and today we're going to be checking out the brand new Emax BabyHawk R Pro 4-inch edition. So, if you're familiar, Emax brought out the Emax BabyHawk R Pro almost, I'm trying to think, it's probably at least a year ago now, and this is a 2.5-inch brushless micro quad here. You can see this really tiny little guy, and now they have stepped up the game and gone to a very similar 4-inch design. So, taking a look at the new ones, some of the really nice changes that they have made. It is no longer a unibody. We have two sandwiching plates here, and we have some boomerang arms. You can see we have sort of this red detailing on the arms there, very cool, as well as they give you one spare in the box. That's awesome. For the motors, they're the Emax. They're the brand new 1606 3300 kV motors here. If we move into the center, we have the Mini Magnum stack, but this is actually the brand new Emax Mini Magnum version 3. You can see we have these capacitors here. They go down through a hole in the frame, actually very clever. So I believe the previous used the Mini Magnum 2, so this is just sort of an upgrade all around, but overall very similar in functionality. It has the 4-in-1 ESC, flight controller, buzzer, everything integrated in, as well as there is the Emax VTX and a little FreeSky D8 receiver in there, which is this antenna that you can see. It's not like an RXSR with diversity, but it'll probably get the job done just fine. For the camera, up here we have something that I was a little bit disappointed in. This is the Caddx, I believe it's the SDR Turbo or something. It's the same camera that was in with the BabyHawk, and I'm just not a big fan of it, but since it is just a normal micro camera, you can easily swap it out if you take this canopy off. Speaking of the canopy, you can see it actually is, as far as I can tell, it's the same exact size as the 2.5-inch, so if you have one of these and maybe you break this one, you can just swap things over. Also in the box, you get a couple sets of props. This guy actually comes with the brand new Scimitar 4-inch, and they give you, let's see, this is a 2.8 pitch, so this is the strongest propeller that they have for the 4-inch, and then some of these, I have them on the quad, these are 2.4-inch pitch. So that's very nice. They give you two different pitches to try, and they give you a couple spares of each. So the battery that comes with the BabyHawk R Pro, it's very nice. It comes with one. It's a 850 little 4S. I believe they say it's 80C. I don't know. You'll see why I say that in a second. It has a little XT30 on it, and we have our balance connector, obviously. So let's just go ahead and get into the footage. So first up here is actually some race footage. This is the very first flights I put on. This was running the 2.8 props, 2.8 pitch props at the time. And we were just flying this course with my 5-inch quad. So I was really excited to just try this out. I apologize for a little break from the video. It does have a dipole on it. You can swap that out, but I just left it for now. So I was actually really surprised with how quickly I adjusted to flying this. So it's not like I was flying a tiny whoop on this thing. Within the first like 20 seconds, I felt really comfortable with this. It flies absolutely fantastic. And if you notice when I get around the turns, it just turns and accelerates so quickly because of how light it is, and I'll weigh it after we see this footage here. But overall, it was performing extremely great, and I was getting very similar lap times to my 5-inch. And I feel like I only flew this for 2 or 3 batteries on the course, because I had to recharge. I only have this one battery here. But I feel like if I spent more time with it, I could tighten things up. But if you can see, if you're watching the OSD, the biggest limiting factor here was the battery. I was getting like a minute and a half of flight time, just not very much with this guy. And once again, I was running the 2.8-inch props. So fast forward a week, here we are back at my house. I put on the 2.4 pitch props to try and get a little bit lower amp draw, and that definitely succeeded. If you're just watching here, I'm just doing a little bit of freestyle, just messing around. It flies very well. I did notice there was a little bit more of oscillation on the 2.4 pitch props, so maybe they're tuned for the 2.8, but if you just lower your D and P gain slightly, based on what I was hearing in the oscillations, especially the D gain, I think it'd be perfectly fine. And especially since the motors were a little warm. I have crashed this thing a couple times, so it could be a little bit of vibration. But just watching this flight here, I was able to get out to like 2.5 minutes pretty comfortably. I wasn't pushing on the battery, but I wasn't holding back too much either, just sort of normal flying. In terms of the durability and motor temperature, as I said, I did crash it a couple times, and I haven't broken anything. I haven't even bent a prop, so everything's so light, and these props are really stiff. Really nice. I really like these props. I think they might be some of the best 4-inch props out. You just have to be a little bit careful with your amp draw. So now that we're all done with the footage, let's talk a little bit more about the quad. And once again, this receiver does bind in D8 mode. It's kind of just shoved up in there with some sticky tape. And to get to the bind button, I would recommend taking the screw out and sort of lifting the canopy up. Also, note about the VTX, it comes locked. I originally tried to set it to race band 3, which is a locked channel. And so I set the video, and then it's just black. I have no output at all. So I was really confused. So I thought it might be locked. So the way to unlock it is to unplug the battery, press and hold the VTX button, which you can probably get with the little screwdriver through there, which is what I did, or up under the canopy. Press and hold that, plug in the battery, it'll unlock the VTX, and then I had video and had all the channels available. Let's just go ahead and weigh this guy here. We'll do the quad by itself first. Get the box out of the way. Trying to make sure I get it all on there, flip it upside down. So it's about 163.9 grams. And then if we add the battery on there, whoops, let's just put it there. Oh, 260 grams. So it's just barely over the 250 gram limit. I'm not really sure who follows that limit anyways. I'll tell you, I do not. But if you're going to want to be technically legal flying this, you know, if you're in a stricter country, you could use a 650 milliamp hour battery and get away with that. Just in comparison, this is actually my old 4-inch that I built. You can see it has a pretty beefy frame on here. Also 1606 motors. These are 3500 kV, much more flimsy props, HQ 4x4.3. You can see we have full-size antenna on here. We have a split run cam stack. So this is definitely a lot beefier of a build. So the other one was 160, so this is 197. So 40 grams on a 4-inch, that makes a huge difference. So it's definitely very light for its class. So real quick about the battery strap, if you look at the bottom, it actually does come with a little rubber piece there to help grip the battery, which is very nice. But if you look at this battery strap, it's actually way too big. So if I pull this tight and then pull this, I don't even have to pull it tight, just pull this around, I only get like 10 millimeters of battery strap actually gripping, and I have all this extra that I have to go and tuck up. I have to tuck this up under the canopy here, so I just really wish the battery strap was a lot shorter of length. It doesn't really fit. And I only really mention that. Normally I would just change the battery strap, but it's sandwiched into the frame, so you have to loosen the frame and take it apart to change that. So it's just a hindsight of Emax that they didn't include a smaller one. However, they are aware of that and trying to swap them out. Not sure if you'll get a long one or not. So yeah, there's really not too much more to say about this little guy. I was really impressed with the performance. The first time I flew at line of sight with the 2.8-inch props and punched it, this thing was just gone. It is way more powerful than the 4-inch I built a while ago, and it just really, really impressed me. Probably, as I mentioned earlier, the biggest downside is the battery. I'm not sure if this is a bad battery or it's just it pulls a lot of power in general. I was seeing like 70 amps on the OSD, and I'm pretty sure that's calibrated. The milliamps seemed pretty accurate from when I was actually landing. So since it is so light and you can afford a little bit more weight, I think maybe a 1000 milliamp hour 4S would do pretty well in here. However, there's not too many options in this small size. I know they make a Tatsu R-Line 850 as well. Pretty sure this is a infinity battery here. But again, I was pulling on it pretty hard, especially with the racing there, holding like 50 to 80% throttle the entire time. If you're kind of just floating around on freestyle or in flying with these 2.4-inch props, it definitely brings the current draw down a lot. So in terms of value, I can't actually say yet because this is a pre-release model, so I don't actually know what the price is. I'm recording this ahead of time. But assuming it's under $200, I think this is a really, really good buy. It just performs so well, and if you're interested in the 4-inch class, it's definitely something to check out, as well as it's nice because now you have these 4-inch motors and these 4-inch props from Emax. So if you fly 4-inch, they're bringing a lot more to the game than just a bind and fly here, since they designed these parts all for it. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the Emax BabyHawk R Pro, the 4-inch edition, the big brother of the little 2.5-inch. If I haven't said it enough, definitely very impressed. There'll be links down in the description below if you are interested in the quad, as well as I'll leave a link to the line of sight video I did. I did 2 separate videos and I posted them at the same exact time on the launch date for this guy. So there's a link to that in the description if you haven't seen it already and you want to hear what it sounds like and just see line of sight how it performs. So yep, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.